Welcome to the stream. Day 2 done of Hell Week. 2 more days to go. I'm not counting Friday. I'll be over Hell Week by Thursday's end. Thank goodness. 2 more days. Let's see. Okay, so I know earlier this week I was like, okay, we're gonna, on Tuesday and Wednesday, one day we're gonna play a new game. On the other day we'll play Of the Devil, just based on how we feel. I'm deciding on Of the Devil tonight. I want to get more into this episode 1. And I have to stop myself every time I get very close to saying episode 2. Because I think episode 0 is 1, and then mentally. So I will boot that up. Mind your ears. Mind your listening volume. I think I hear children outside playing. Why are children outside playing at this late of an hour? What are the children doing? What are the youth doing? This is a work of fiction. Don't you ever forget it. Although I wish Morgan of the Devil was real. That'd be cool. Okay. Let's try. Let's see. What happened last stream? So we continued our investigation basically with Sarah in tow. Sarah, who was gifted upon to us by the dead late David, previous friend of ours, to some extent friend, guy who worked at like an Android place. Sarah, seemingly we last stream got a lot of details about. She's a very advanced prototype. We want to say prototype. She had a lot of advanced features for an Android kind of thing. Something that was either features and specs that would be for future iterations of the Android model that she was destined to be or become or something, or some not even being tested features. We ran into a guy and basically had like Sarah scanned. We continued the investigation. We spoke to some other manager, higher up person of the company. I'm really terrible with names, so whatever that lady's name was, we met with her. We had a meeting in her office. It'd probably help if I could boot it up, and then I could get to actual profiles. I'm not done with my recap necessarily, but I'm... Oh, I gotta click. In transit. We're not gonna read this. We're not gonna read this yet. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. Was it, Are these in alphabetical? Oh yeah, we had the introduction to Fran. That was the guy at the company. That's David. Helen Jung was the one that I think one of the last things we did in the previous stream was the meeting with her, because she was the one who was the last one to be in well, I don't want to say in contact, but basically was the one with David when he died. Which almost makes you think that she's not going to be held responsible or whatever, because that would be too easy of an answer, right? That she has something to do with it. But yeah, she was the one who was having the meeting with David at his place, and then where he died. We also who was the there was a her Yumi Sato, who did she was at the lab examining the body, I think. So there was this kind of thing, And I think, you know, it was a lot of that. We got a lot of information in the last stream. I know that I'm bad at recaps, but it sounds like we didn't do like anything. But that's not the case. We did do a lot last stream. I just have shit memory, which I can't. Okay, I think I accidentally skipped the, there was a sentence for this, yeah? Morgan saying, would you kindly slow the hell down? Okay, so we're with Morgan and Sarah. Here we go. And then Sarah saying, I'm sorry, Adonai. Was I walking too quickly for you? I wasn't walking. That was speed walking. Also, I gotta get, I'm gonna adopt a more relaxed pose. So I'm gonna lower my mic arm a bit. And I'm gonna slouch even more in my chair, if you don't mind. Ultimate comfort mode. Okay, I'm better now. I'm leaning. Ruining my back, but I feel comfortable in the moment, so it's fine. Okay, yeah, I already read that. Up 2 flights of stairs. It's very different. Speed walking? Sounds like a powerful technique. Is it like the Zhen Jiao? Zhen Jiao? Zhen Jiao? Probably butchering that. Apologies. Just let me catch my breath for a minute. Adonai, is it possible that you are out of shape? I love these cutaways to like this little script screen things. I'm sure there's a term for this. I'm sure I was taught the term, if there's an actual term for this. I'm sure at some point in my life I knew. But in my head I just go script screens. No. But since we left the cab, your heart rate has... I'm not wearing the right clothes. Or the right shoes. Is that so? Yes. Also, I didn't stretch or hydrate, and the sun's reaching its zenith. Every excuse you could say other than I might be slightly out of shape. I appreciate it. It's like me when I'm dying in a game constantly. I'll say any excuse, over and over. That would have been several hours ago. Do you mean the air temp? You said it would be a short walk from street level, so I prepared myself, mentally, for a short walk. Then you took off like a rocket. And you didn't mention we'd have to go upstairs. Are you sure this place is even back here? The reviews online were quite clear. It's worth the trouble finding it. Maybe if you're a mountain climber. When I sent Fran hunting for a musician in David's circles, I expected them to bring me someone from the city orchestra or jazz club. The champagne, flute, and teacup kind of musician. But this is the tequila and neon part of town. It should be in view if we turn... Adonai, be careful. Of what? It's a stray, and it's bearing its fangs too. It could be carrying diseases. You should... Relax. Adonai, it's growling. It's not growling at me. See? So it's just me it doesn't like. Too much static. How'd you get it to calm down? It's an animal, not a monster. Wants to be calm. Do you like animals? What kind of cold-blooded freak doesn't like animals? Do you have a pet? No, never have. Why not? Because I don't want to take care of a pet. That seems counterintuitive to me. Well, it makes perfect sense to me, and I don't need it to make sense to you. But, you notice you're only this talkative when it's just the two of us? Called out. Just an observation. You shy or something? Did David program you to have android anxiety? It's generally only appropriate to respond to comments that are addressed to oneself. Today, I've rarely been addressed directly by people, other than you. Oh, now you feel bad, Morgan. Now you feel like a piece of shit. In other words, you're shy. That is not what I... Can I try petting it? There's no law against it. 4:26 p.m. July 1st, 2086. Ultraviolets. Oh, it's a nightclub. This is the establishment. Now to see if Isaac Porter is as habitual as Fran claims. Do you think Father was close with this man? This man who you've never met? I think he was close to him, yeah. At some point. I had some help making that deduction. Fran saw that their metadata showed a significant cooling of interaction between the two of them, particularly over the past month. But Fran also saw a phone call between the two last night. So they were close. Do you think they were sleeping together? That is completely inappropriate for me or anyone to speculate about. Inappropriate? Adonai, it's only set... I'm getting a very important text message from my private investigator. Excuse me? Did you catch the killer yet? No. What the hell? I sent you his... I'm at his position. POS. POS? Position? How would you... Position. I haven't spoken to Porter yet. Anyway, there's no reason to suspect him right now. Lame. Surprised you're invested all of a sudden. Isn't David Asher a corporate sellout in your eyes? Everyone's a corporate sellout. But Asher gets respect. If I'm a demolitions expert, he's like a really good architect. That's almost sweet, I think. Asher started out working in Cube. So in the architect analogy, by today's standards, he's like, I don't know. As a kid, he built all his bricks by hand. Or something. You know that lit homework can help you with forming analogies. Eat this analogy. Did that come through or did the characters break? It's supposed to be a guy giving you the finger. Take a cube as a programming language. What's special about it? Pretty much anything coded in the last 20 years is web-based. You code with the assumption that you'll always be connected. So you can depend on having fat libraries of references to lean on. And if something does go wrong, your errors get reported to you automatically. But not Cube? You can look it up. But basically, Cube was originally for robotics and, like, machinery. Stuff that had to operate in mines. Under the ocean. Middle of nowhere field to zero signal service. So Cube had to be self-sufficient. How rugged. Where'd Asher learn Cube anyway? It's older than dirt. From like the 40s. I don't know. I think his father had a machine shop or something. Vague. Yeah, well, David didn't like to talk about his family. And I never asked. What did your private investigator have to say, Adonai? Not telling. The stage for the talent, pretty close to the floor. Guess it fits with the whole round table aspect of this place. Everyone's on more or less equal footing, dancing in the dark, once you get past the bouncer. Do you think they might have met here? David and Porter? I can't see David walking in here. Because you found the walk so challenging? Because it's too loud to relax, and not dark enough to be anonymous. I see. What's that face? You got an opinion to share? The atmosphere's not bad in here, but the music isn't quite... I'll find your survey to fill out before we leave. What kind of music does an android even like? Early 21st century punk rock. Is that just you, or does that go for all androids? I haven't met all androids. I can't speak for them. Wonder what they'd say. If they're smart, they'd say that music peaked with early 21st century punk rock. Debate settled. A bar, stocked full of colorful selections and busy bartenders. Hope this isn't the kind of club you can order food in. Only time bar food is any good is when you're drunk enough to forget the taste in the gap between chewing and swallowing. So you can, like, eat things? Yes, I can. What, like android food? There is no such product. So what do androids eat? Online user guides for Noble Worms models clarify that they don't eat anything in the traditional sense. They get their energy from electrical charging, usually wireless. Whenever they need to eat, it's to replenish specific vitamins and electrolytes. Sounds a lot like what mod users go through with their sports drinks and energy bars, and charger separation anxiety. According to the net, warm androids can ingest nutrient-rich processed carbohydrate pellets if they need to forego electrical charging long-term. Processed pellets? You mean like kibble? Like dog food? No, it is not like dog food at all. Can you buy it from the pet store? It seems that you can. How is this something you have to look up anyway? Because I've always just eaten whatever father gave me. Like what? Marbled beef. Never hydroponic avocados. Frogois. That sort of thing. Oh, Cube was new too. Cube was a Tier 5 programming language commonly used in mid-21st century robotics. Tended to support robust behavior trees in low data stream environments. Its design philosophy emphasized lean, goal-oriented learning that would not be reliant on the bloated libraries and always online API popularized in the 2030s. Rosa Fluff, real name unknown, first began working on Cube in 2044 as part of a student robotics project. Cube 0.9 released in 2045, and by 2048, Cube 3.1 had already found itself embedded in robotics engineering across the globe. Despite having what is considered a relatively high barrier to entry in user knowledge and execution, Cube gained widespread popularity, particularly among disaffected communities in third world countries where internet access would remain unreliable for the next 2 decades as regional conflicts would continue. Infamously, Contra fighter engineers utilized Cube during the 27-day siege to seize mechanized weapons from peacekeeping forces in a cyber warfare operation that is frequently cited as a key reason as to why a siege lasts as long as it did. Cube has not been developer supported since 2063 and is considered a defunct programming language because much of its documentation is never ported from the old net due to its incompatible with tenets. There's little to no corporate interest in the ongoing grassroots digital archaeology effort to archive it. Never Hydroponic is a movement calling for sourcing food exclusively from farms utilizing natural sunlight. Lobbyists for the movement have made unsubstantiated claims about superior taste or nutritional value, but the label is yet to receive official state recognition, and thus the presence of the term or terms like it on food. I always mess up the dash. And thus the presence of the term or terms like it on food packaging carries no weight and is not backed by any legal guarantee. I know dashes in text can definitely have that like separation, that moment of pause, just like a comma or whatever, but I'm so much more used to just a comma separating like a parenthetical, not a parenthetical phrase, but like a phrase right there. And so when I'm just reading fast, I'm just like, I think of it, and thus the presence of the term or terms like it, like, basically I'm saying I'm dumb and bad at reading. So it's my fault. One of a number of food sourcing movements that arose in the latter half of the 21st century as rising sea levels reduced the total amount of arable land around the world and shifted the global agricultural industry towards hydroponics and vertical farms, rural skyscrapers where each floor is utilized for food production, saving on real estate costs and reducing the impact of unstable weather on agricultural output. Breathe. I'm not paying for any of that. She's talking about the food that she was saying Sarah eats. That Sarah was saying Sarah eats. That one over there, he matches the photo Fran sent. Should I approach now or look around some more? I'll look around more. Make sure I've got everything. I may have already got everything. Okay. Uh-oh. Oh, did I do myself somehow dirty here? Oh. That was weird. Okay, what kind of reading material gets left out in a club? A tabloid interview? I was just hitting a bunch of buttons to try to, and I must have done something to unstick it. Or there was something and I just couldn't find it, and I did bad hunting. What kind of reading gets left out in a club? A tabloid interview? Here we go. Exclusive sit down with luxury. You've heard her name on everyone's lips. You've seen her face in magazines and commercials, and then double check to make sure the photos weren't labeled as edited. Now get all your burning questions about her answered here in our exclusive interview with the mysterious young woman who's being called, in perhaps the only true unanimous vote the net's ever seen, the most beautiful woman in the world. Why the name? Luxury. Why the name? People think it's an ego thing, but it was just a random username I picked back when I was grassroots. Then it was a pseudonym to give me a little shade from all the attention. Now it's a brand and I can't change it without setting the stock market into spin, so... You're certainly influential. After partnering with you, Inti saw a 3,000% increase in share price. Yay, I'm happy for them, of course. But to be honest, it's a pain at times like this. She gestures towards her clothes, a plain white t-shirt and gym shorts with no branding visible. On anyone else, it might seem sloppy or even unflattering. On her, it only makes her natural beauty stand out that much more. Who are you wearing, by the way? Sigh. Can't wear anyone unless I'm attending something. If I don't dress like this, all my sponsors fall into bidding wars every time I leave the house. Does it stress you, all that attention? Stress is bad for your skin, right? They say mine's flawless. Can't argue with that. So do you have a skincare routine? Any tips you'd like to share? Be a little bratty, act a little spoiled, keeps you young. And how old are you exactly? Everyone's dying to know. 18 to 21, 18 to 29 now and forever. Don't get stuck on a cliffhanger like that. Hurry, log in below. No. Well, however old she is or isn't, Luxury's got one hell of a mind for business. It might do her more good than her face in the end. Maybe. It's one hell of a face. In the meantime, she's powerless. Powerful. Some rises are too meteoric for even the Megs to grab the reins on. At this point, Luxury's got them at her mercy. She can send their stocks into disarray with one selfie. Good for her. Oh, wait, this must be the person. Okay, yeah, that's him, alright. Looks like he's killing time before his sets tonight. Are you unsure how to proceed, Adonai? I'm sure that you need to hang back. As for me, I'm gonna play it cool. We're playing it cool, everyone. We're playing it cool. Hey there. Hey. Some sick beats out there on the floor, right? Sick beats? Yeah, or whatever, man. The hell? Are you a fucking cop or something? This isn't a cop bar. Wow, I lost a chip thing, counter thing, because I was trying to act cool. Man. Instant regret. This dude's harshing my mel. I'm just here for the vibes. And you aren't really dressed like a cop. God damn. You're media, aren't you? Fucking vultures, man. Okay, now I'm upset. Perhaps just to start over. My name's Morgan. I was David's friend. I'm currently his lawyer. Can we talk? Not here. Thanks, Isaac. Let me clear that out. And then... Isaac Porter, September 18th. Blood type B positive. B positive. Occupation, musician and bassist. Likes itineraries, grilling, and champagne. Dislikes resistance training, producers, and ads. Best at gift giving, worst at folding laundry. Favorite quote, I don't do requests. Nice. So cool. 2 chips I lost for trying to be cool. I'm a little bitter. Thanks, Isaac. Don't thank me yet. I might just sit here, shut my mouth, and stick you with my tab. So what kind of lawyer are you? What kind of friend? I'm his defense attorney. Think you missed the bus on that then, yeah? And I'm a friend that needs to know what happened yesterday. Doesn't everyone? Try somewhere else, friendly lawyer. I haven't seen him in weeks. You might not have seen him, but we both know that you spoke with him over the phone yesterday. Only a short time before he died. How the hell? Isaac, it's pretty obvious that you don't want this particular spotlight to linger on you any longer than necessary, so why don't we cut to the chase? No lies, no playing coy. Fine. Sarah? Yes, Adonai. The hell? Is that thing transmitting? I'm not streaming any data, no. Porter doesn't seem to recognize Sarah either. One more person David was keeping secrets from. I need to record everything for the court. Fine. You two were together, is that correct? We were together. I ended it. Yesterday. Care to elaborate? on our entire relationship? Look, you can tell me everything once and I can get it on the record. Or you can hear the same questions over and over again from 1,000 different cops and Megs for the next 3 months. We met in a bar. I'd seen him coming a few times, each time with someone else. Each time talking with his mouth but not looking with his eyes. Ticked me off. Scribbling on napkins, letting a single gin and tonic sweat onto the table for 2 hours. His dates would all go to the bathroom or take a call and slip out the back. One of them didn't make it 10 minutes, and he'd still sit there the rest of the night, unfazed. Couldn't tell if he was oblivious or stupid or shameless or the most confident man in the world. And he ticked me off. One night, things were slow and my set had been canceled and his date hadn't even bothered to think of an excuse before bailing, so I asked him why he'd insist on coming there, night after night. Just to ignore vapid people he wasn't interested in at a shitty bar with drinks he didn't like. And he just said, because I like your music. Man, did that tick me off. It was cute, early on. Him being so passionate about work I could barely pretend to understand. And I liked that we gave each other space, you know? Felt like we were being mature or whatever. Until? There was no until. No one day where everything turned sour. But at some point, I started to understand where his priorities were, and how I ranked in them. Like I said, he was passionate about his work. I just wrongly assumed that he would also be that passionate about me, at some point. So I pulled away a little, wanted to see if he'd notice, if he'd miss me. Testing him, like that isn't the biggest red flag in the world. He never budged. I could ignore him for days and he wouldn't be the least bit ashamed to see me. If I picked a fight, he'd never get angry or upset. He'd just apologize. He didn't want to fight with me. Guess he was never invested enough to bother. It was my mistake. I watched him sit there all those nights, not giving a shit when people walked away, and I had this stupid idea that somehow, for whatever reason, I'd be different. That I would be special. But I wasn't, so I ended it. Last night, I called him. Didn't expect he picked up. I had everything prepared to leave a message with an assistant or ad or whatever. But he answered, first ring. Without hesitation, shame, or awkwardness. And that ticked me off. So I told him exactly how valued he had made me feel the past few months. Told him exactly how insignificant I felt as the boyfriend of the illustrious Dr. David Asher. And what did he say? He apologized. And then he asked me if that was all I called to tell him. Oof. I hung up after that. Spent the rest of the night wrapped in warm disdain for him and his coldness. He had made that easy for me. I went to sleep hurt, but clean, ready for something new. And then this morning I wake up to see that my ex killed himself not 2 hours after he let me walk out of his life without so much as a don't. The hell, man. The hell, David. And now, you're just a tip of an iceberg of lawyers and reporters and buzzards. Parasites who want to hear about the man who sent David Asher over the edge. I never wanted to be his last lifeline, or the straw that broke his back. I just wanted to be his goddamn boyfriend. Turns out that was asking for too much. It's yet to be determined whether David committed suicide. You serious? You don't have all the facts. And you do? Any one of them point to anything else? Thought so. Thanks for your time. I'll let you get back to it. That's it? No summons? The court has no need for you to retell a sad story like that. Court, huh? Sorry to bother you at work. Sarah, let's go. Your discography is very impressive. Yeah, thanks. And your range is remarkable. So it pained me to see that all of your works in the last quarter have been so melancholy. I think... Well, what the hell would you know about any of that? What's the matter? Can't find the words? Need to steal them from somewhere first, butcher them before shitting them back out? I was not trained on any datasets that... Nah, pardon me, my mistake, really. Not your fault you're only standing here because rich prick nerds were allowed to rob the world blind for most of this century. Sarah? We're leaving. I really liked the, that audio, that's almost like screech there. What the hell was that about? He was under the false impression that I was programmed using a massive automated learning model, an early 21st century. Not that. Why'd you talk to him? I wanted to. I just felt that I should say something to him. A word of advice. People don't want comfort from strangers, especially when they're androids. They want it from the people they want it from. Coming from anywhere else, it's just corn syrup on a parched tongue. Corn syrup on a parched tongue. Doesn't matter how sweet it is, they'll just start gagging. You know a lot about people, don't you, Adonai? Compared to you, I'm a goddamn savant. Come on, there's not much time left. Is there still somewhere you want to investigate? Somewhere I need to return to, actually. Porter was right. As things stand, I don't have any evidence that could establish an alternative interpretation of the facts. But if there did exist hard evidence that could prove his death wasn't a suicide, there's only one place I could find it at this point. Obviously, it could be a director's noble employee housing building place here. Penthouse basement. The basement. You sure you don't want another look at the crime scene? I'm all out of time. Gotta approach this from the other angle. The other angle? You know, inductive versus deductive. Flip the chessboard and all that. Flip the chessboard, dude! Oh, Battler. The spirit of Battler Ishiromiya has been invoked. Dude, I only just recently... Obviously, I'm always thinking about Umineko. But I somehow came across an Umineko video on YouTube. And then, of course, when you click onto one, it... you then get offered so many different, you click on one Umineko video because you're like, oh, what is this? And then you're served for the next 2 days at least a bunch of other Umineko videos. And I think it was, I was watching, I don't know if you'd call them this, but like, cutscenes from the Umineko pachinko machine. And then my want and desires and dreams for getting a hold of an Umineko pachinko machine like deepened like a millionfold. So yeah. Umineko pachinko machine. I'll own one someday in my life. If it's like the last thing I do. On my deathbed, if I secure an Umineko pachinko machine. Okay. Someone says, oh, we already. Haven't you ever read a mystery novel? I've seen mystery films. Well, let's see if you paid any attention then. What killed David Asher? Poison. 10 points. There's a point system? Now, how did that poison get... I like the music coming back in after... Now, how did that poison get into his bloodstream? He must have ingested it orally. And how do we know that? The medical examiner found no injection marks or wounds. And if he had inhaled it? Inhaled it. Why? Leave the whys to someone who actually understands them. I won't be able to understand anything if I don't practice. Practice by answering my question. I suppose it's possible, but highly unlikely. We would have found a delivery system for it in the building, like an inhaler. Right. An airborne poison is either shoved in your face or sprayed over a wide area. And no one around David has shown any kind of symptoms. So all we're left with is oral intake. Eliminating the impossible. What's next, Adonai? Jung's corroborated statement was that David didn't exhibit any irregular symptoms or behavior until he started drinking that night. And the police didn't find anything unusual in any of the food or drink in his home. Except for his cup. The results were inconclusive. Jung was drinking from the same bottle and the same type of cup, but didn't get sick. We have to conclude, then, that David's cup alone was poisoned. That all seems logical, and consistent with the police's theory of suicide. So why are we down here? Minus 10 points. Back to 0? David left the parlor and came back with whiskey and 2 cups. Jung told us as much, and apparently the cameras upstairs support a story. So we have to conclude, then, that he got them both from this bar? Better. 5 points. This is so proud. Did he also get the poison from the cabinet? The police have been in here since we left. According to their ARCS file, they didn't find anything that matches that poison down here. So the poison somehow went straight into his drinking cup then. I need to flip this around again. But if you turn something 360 degrees, you're just back to... If I were the prosecution, what would I want more than anything? Proof that David knowingly added the poison himself. He wouldn't do that. And you can make that claim because there's no video evidence to contradict you. How long was David off camera? From 7:36 p.m. to 7:40 p.m. when he left the parlor to get liquor from this bar. So if we had David on camera for those 4 minutes, and he didn't poison himself in that time, he would have a perfect alibi for the crime, proving his innocence. But Adonai, we don't have footage of that. There are no security cameras down here. I think there are. What do you mean? This whole building is coded head to toe in Penumbra security systems, courtesy of Noble. Every console, every corner, every android on every floor, it's all plugged into Penumbra. Except that. That panel is manufactured by Cotter Security Systems. Why would David put a console for a different security system in exactly one corner of his penthouse? I've never given it much thought. Well, it's been bothering me all day, but my curiosity alone can't scale a 64-digit wall. You mean signal hijacking, or whatever you want to call it. Have you tried it before? It is illegal and unnecessary. Father would not... He would not have installed hidden cameras in his own home. At the end of the day, can't make you do anything. Well, actually, I probably can now that you're registered to me. But aren't you the one who wanted to prove his innocence? Eliminate the impossible. I will need your express verbal command. Not like David can press charges against us at this point. Do it. Do it. Did you really need me to say that? For the purposes of record keeping, yes. I've gotten past the 64-digit code, and I have found cameras. There are a number of them embedded in the room's walls and ceilings. As you theorized, they are on a separate network from the rest of the building. Where are they feeding to? Not the Penumbra system. Behind my hibernation unit. A false wall in the back of a safe. I don't understand. Why would Father possibly have a hidden system of cameras inside his own home? Beats me. He was brilliant and more than a little odd. Throw in a little money and odd becomes eccentric. I see. I think. I don't. The hell was he thinking? What was he afraid of? Why didn't he come to me for... Time's short. Gather facts now and leave the computation for later. I want to peruse. The liquor cabinet this mystery hinges on. The police have been through it all by now, and they didn't find foreign contents in any of the spirits. No poison to be found here. Well, not that kind of poison anyway. In which case, can I make you anything? Well, if you're offering, I'll have... Sorry, you're way underage, aren't you? 2 years old or whatever? Technically. Took that one a lot worse than I expected. Cheer up, maybe you'll find a mocktail if you climb to the top of the ladder. This is a rolling ladder, a kind of step ladder, not a ladder. What? Remember, a ladder extends, but a step ladder folds out. And? It's important to know the distinction. I bet my life savings that the subject will never come up again, ever. What did David even do with all this equipment? Dry his laundry? What makes you so sure he wasn't exercising? Did you ever see him use any of this crap? No, but he must have used the weights when I wasn't looking, since he promised me that he'd take better care of his health. Sarah, these weights are all maxed out. David couldn't have put up numbers like these even if he was piloting a frame. Don't be so sure, Adonai. Pardon? The following is a true story, based on primary sources who were present for the event and its aftermath. Copenhagen, 1981, 8:10 a.m., local time. A towering man with the musculature of a world-class professional rugby player enters the Global Donkey Bank on Fredericksburg Lane. He explains to the bank teller that he has a bomb in his suitcase and that he wants his gym bag filled with unmarked bills. A security guard approaches him from behind with a nightstick and swings, but the man simply catches the weapon and bends it into a twisted knot with his massive, dinner plate-sized hands. When asked to describe the suspect to the police afterwards, the teller had only this to say: "That man was all muscle." The rest of the bank heist proceeds without incident, and the man exits the building just as police arrive on the scene, when suddenly, his suitcase explodes. But it's just a smokescreen. Local officers quickly recognize the ploy and rush towards the door, grabbing each of the hostages as they flee while desperately searching for the perpetrator. What they find instead is his diminutive, frail, sheepish young man, barely 160 centimeters tall, holding a gym bag full of money with no recollection of how he got there. Renowned psychologist and trained hypnotist David Werner Kurtzer wrote the following in his diagnosis: acute dissociative identity disorder. That's right, the man had a split personality, and so great was the disparity between his two halves that when they switched control, he physically changed, becoming taller, bulkier, and capable of previously unthinkable feats of strength. So be careful what you say a man like Father can't do, just because of how he looks on the outside. Morgan's face is probably just like, what the fuck is going on? Sarah, every single word you just said was false. Huh? Don't believe everything you read on the net. That was good, though. I like that. That was very funny. That was worth clicking it. What's the story with this anyway? Some kind of fault in the foundation? I don't know. I've never noticed a crack before. I want to get those eyes checked. There's nothing wrong with my vision. This crack just must have been created during my most recent hibernation. How? Did David drop a weight a bunch of times over and over in the same spot? So is that the original? It was appraised and confirmed to be genuine. At least he didn't get ripped off. I'm a Philistine when it comes to this kind of stuff. What does an android see? I see a meeting, or perhaps an encounter. Two apex forces of nature, two kings of the forest, the stag and the tiger. I think. Great. I'm officially less cultured than the robot. Alright, let's refocus here. So there's some kind of hidden door behind your bunk bed, huh? Essentially, though a bunk bed would imply a second or third. How do we open it? One moment. I see. Got it open already? I cannot open this door. Why? It is a Tethys Basics Sturdiker. That anti-hack feature in the name is real? It's a closed system, Adonai. The hell am I supposed to do now? Strange. There was an if-then toggle enabled in security parameters. I don't follow. When Father last adjusted the settings here, he made it so that the door would never open so long as I was hibernating. And he made it so that I was only one who could wake her up. Meaning this is a door that only I can open? It'll be a 6-character password, some combination of numbers or letters. Did you and Father have any influential moments in your life that revolved around a 6-letter word? Nothing comes to mind. Is there a code word that he knew only I could learn? Didn't I fuck up really bad the last password thing that we needed? When we were like, was it getting Sarah out in the first place? 6-letter word? Combination of letters or numbers? Six? I don't think I'm supposed to know this. Unless I am. Then I'm just bad. I can't even... I'm about to say something that sounds ridiculous. I can't even think of a 6-letter word right now. I can't... What's a 6... What's a... Oh, it's just a 6-letter word. What's a 6-letter word? Letter. It's been a long week, and it's only been 2 days so far. Cut me a bit of slack. No dice. Could it be your birthday? Or his? If David set the password to something as dumb as that, I'd never forgive him. Do we have, 1226? 1226, but then we need a year. As you say, Adonai. No, he would have picked a code whose significance was only obvious after the fact. Oh, game's giving me a second chance, so maybe I should know it. I mean... if I'm supposed to get this, I feel bad. Oh, God, David. What do we do? David. David. What if it's just my name? I mean... M-O-R-G... Was that your name you just tried? It's 6 characters, isn't it? If this is not the right answer, and it has special dialogue for, like, an obvious thing you might try. Yes, but it's not exactly secure, Adonai. Anyone who knew you and Father were close could have tried guessing it. Was there some word that only the two of you knew? Some word only the two of us knew? It's not going to be in a profile. I'm looking at all the 6 letter words on the screen though right now. Unique, custom, street. It's not gonna... They're probably... Okay, the answer to this probably was... Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it was said like last stream or stream before. And we all know that I'm not gonna have the memory for that. A nickname? Oh, what did he call me? There was a nickname. Oh, fuck. Shit. Now that it says a nickname, I feel like I slightly remember a nickname. What did he call me? Oh my god. Oh, but I'm not gonna be able to find it anywhere. Would it be in an evidence thing? What did he... Oh, there was a nickname. It's like on the tip of my tongue. God damn it, dude. God. Oh, I'm bad. Shit. I'm trying to think. I don't want to just, like, look it up. That's lame. There was some nickname. 6 letters. What did he call me? Why do I keep going to Squirt? That doesn't make sense. What did he call me? Shit. It's not here. I know there was a nickname. God. Pretty much everyone just calls me Morgan, but not everyone. I don't know what the name is. Shit. This game is just gonna have to tell me. Because I don't have the memory. I've lost it. I'm an 84-year-old man. And I'm basically senile, playing video games. I don't have the memory for stuff like this. I'm so bad. I apologize. What was the name? That didn't work either. Perhaps a deep breath would help you refocus, Adonai. Wait. It's not Adonai, is it? I mean, that's what Sarah's calling us. Did he also call us that? That's not it, is it? It's not like I'm taking multiple choice tests, Sarah. I either know the answer or I don't. I see. So do you know the answer, Adonai? I'm getting there. It's not Adonai, is it? I need to walk away. I feel so stupid. I feel so stupid. I feel like I've just been had. The game just took me for a ride. Okay. Yeah. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Humiliation. It's fine. It's opening. What was the password, Adonai? You never guess. Damn it. I got it eventually. I mean, the game was kind of... I don't know if it was intentionally saying then Adonai there when Sarah was talking to me. That was probably like the built-in hint thing. I respect that. I respect that a lot. Because then when I saw it there, I immediately was like... It came to me. I was like, shit. Did feel a bit out of character, David utilizing so much cloak and dagger tech. And I've definitely been struggling with the idea of him doing home improvement. But one step in here and it all makes sense. It's a panic room. Scary. Panic room is a place for rich people to hide in when people start bouncing bricks off their windows. They're typically not even on the blueprints. So when Noble built his penthouse for one of their executives, someone slipped this into the mix, and it's remained a Noble's blind spot ever since. All David had to do was repurpose it. Make sure you're capturing all this. I don't want to miss my one chance because of a discovery technicality. I understand, but you needn't specify. My memory is flawless. I can play back visual, sound, sensations. I can even give detailed reports on air particulates. You mean you can smell? Better than any human, and some canines. So does it smell stale in here to you? Stale? Doesn't to me. Almost like someone's been in here recently. Almost like someone visits here frequently. Alright, let's try booting up the computer. You don't think the console is password protected? 2 physical doors, 64-digit code, a half-ton Android, and a secret phrase. If David set a password on his PC after all that, I'm going back to the morgue to have a word with him. Good. It's already signed in. You're looking for camera footage? I'd also settle for a note plainly stating that he feared for his life. What am I doing? Here, you search for video files. They'll probably be time-stamped and formatted for short-range devices. I have the subfolder. The cameras stream live data constantly, but the files are clipped at fairly regular intervals. Once every week, it seems. The most recent video file here has footage going back 8 days. It was accessed yesterday at around 4 p.m. You were asleep then, so the only person who could get in here at the time was David himself. Alright, let's see it then. Of course, it's just that I am having difficulty. Try double-clicking. I've been trying to open the files from the moment I discovered them, Adonai. But they are encrypted. Damn it, David. You gave me enough clues to get this far, but you won't let me use your computer? What's the brand on the encryption program? If I rush a subpoena, they might have a backdoor I could bluff them into. These files were not encrypted with any commercially available tool. This appears to be Father's own work. Shit. David Asher handwrote the encryption on these files. There's no one alive who could... Hey, was Dawes just flattering you back there? Or is your processing power really that special? Adonai, Can you break his encryption? Yes or no? With enough time. And how much time would that be? I would estimate it at 2 to 6 hours. That's a 4-hour window. No matter how sophisticated, encryption is still just a code that must be deciphered. And when deciphering any code, progress proceeds exponentially, which makes it particularly difficult to determine the amount of time required to complete the process. 2 to 6 hours. I don't have any better options. Get started. I started 4 minutes and 23 seconds ago. Finally showing some initiative. But you've been talking to me this whole time. I have the ability to analyze data in parallel by utilizing subconscious processes, as long as the work required is rote. So you're doing it in the back of your head? Actually, I'm speaking to you in the back of my head. I could give the decryption process my full undivided attention, but I'd become non-responsive. Hey, it's a pretty nifty feature. I'll have to keep that in mind. Alright, can you take the show on the road? Or do we have to rip this computer out of the wall and find a battery? I have copied the encrypted files and will work on them as we travel. We can leave whenever you're ready. Still can't believe David let me get this far just to shut the door in my face at the last second. But he did let me get this far. And the computer's not the only thing in here. Cabinets are a lot less eye-catching than his computer, but knowing David, that's all the more reason to check. Lots of paperwork, bonds and holdings, a platinum bar. His birth certificate might be nearly as valuable. Can't imagine what people would pay to steal David Asher's identity. Down here at the bottom, a binder. Noble's logo on the front, in the middle, enough pages to dwarf one of those phone books you see in period pieces. They're making it in legalese even on the table of contents, but basically, this is his employment contract. Hold on to this for me. It must be very important if you're giving it to me. It's certainly very heavy. Was there anything else in there? Expecting an updated copy of his will to show up? It is a possibility, isn't it? Maybe in a corny old murder mystery. A widely beloved and respected genre with over 2 centuries of... There is something else. Your papers. That Evangeline Morgan will be given immediate and complete ownership of the android designated Sarah. It's dated to a few weeks back. Had he already made up his mind about all of this? If he had, why'd he hide this where no one could find it? No one else could find it. Was that just a backup plan? Well, at least we got something a bit more concrete than Starling's word now. We got the papers. We got David's contract. Great. Well, nope, we already read that. Her word should be plenty, shouldn't it? A lot of people realize how precious you are. Cute. As a collector's item. We've yet to meet one person who knows what the hell you are. But Noble could have easily argued that you fall under private technology or physical holdings. Unless I had something like this. It's good that you do, then. I'm glad that father wanted me to go with a friend of his. Yeah. This will get me a huge tax write-off when I donate you to a for-profit college. You could at least pick a charitable institution. It's just an old saying. All colleges have been for-profit since the 60s. Truth nuke. No, I'm joking. That doesn't make me feel any better. You could cheer up in the car. Hail us a ride to the courthouse. Priority. There's an upcharge at this hour for priority transportation. That's irritating. But I'd like to have more than just a few minutes to prepare once we get there. The upcharge is a multiplier of 5.7. I'll prepare on the way over. Very good, Adonai. 5:48 p.m., July 1st, 2086. Does it excite you, going into courtrooms? What do you mean? You don't feel the tension in the air as the audience murmurs amongst themselves? You don't feel a fiery sense of justice rising in your gut as the prosecution smirks at your ragtag assembly of witnesses? Do you really think this is going to be like some kind of movie where the good guys save the day? Probably not. Though that would be nice, if it were. What's your deal, anyway? Did David train you off a movie marathon from hell or something? We did watch films together, if that's what you're asking. Though he was rarely the one who suggested it. So you're the aggressor. What's an android get out of watching a flick anyway? What do I get? Why do you do it? What's your reason? I'm not sure how to answer your question. Never mind. Forget what I was talking to. Forgot what I was talking to. I like the performances. Pfft, sure, there you go. Got a crush on Humphrey Bogart or something? He's a handsome man. But it's not the actors I like so much as their performance. The truth is, besides father, I have very little experience when it comes to people. I hadn't noticed. That's sarcasm. I read the net, and I watch people, and what they share of their lives. But it's also subtle, so hard to follow. There are so many unspoken rules that can't be taught, only learned, and I often struggle to grasp them. You're also complex, so detailed, but the characters on screen are exaggerated, larger than life. The actors enunciate, their body language is precise and meaningful. Their faces are bright and softly lit, and their eyes are It's fiction. So these characters and their stories, they have a beginning, a middle, and end. And the people on screen don't ask anything of you except your attention. You can't disappoint them or make them feel awkward. You can just watch and learn. But what about you, Adonai? What about me? Do you like movies? Yeah, sure. Back when I was a kid. Really? Who was your favorite director? What was your favorite film? It was a long time ago. I don't remember. 6:05 p.m. July 1st, 26. State. Building. Floor. 48. Okay, I'm gonna take a real quick BRB. Someone's actually... I'm gonna go to the restroom, get some water, and someone's been trying to message me the past hour of the stream. So I'm gonna take those. I will be right back. I'll do this. Give me just a few minutes. Okay. Alright, I'm back. Alright, alright, perfect. Water required. Message responded to. Things are quieter than I expected here at the courthouse. Oh, I gotta click in. Yeah, my bad. Though I've always felt courthouse is a bit of a misnomer. Government building is probably the best way to describe these towers, all-encompassing and impenetrably vague. 100 floors of officials and documents and paper-pushing queues, with a couple dozen courtrooms squeezed in along the way. Didn't think I'd be arguing in court when I woke up today. Didn't think that my friend would be dead, or that he'd have thrust an android onto my lap either. I could just walk in there and concede. Emma would be irritated, and more than a little confused, but I could play it off as an exercise in grief. The android would complain, loudly of course, but I wouldn't have to listen to it. Now that it's registered in my name, I could probably just order the damn thing to reset its memory. But I haven't done that, and I guess I don't plan to. Why? Must be because I have my suspicions as well. Sarah insists that David would never commit suicide, and I haven't actually stopped to ask myself whether or not I agree. David was rational, subdued, private, hard on himself, and not prone to emotional outbursts. So maybe that's why I'm finding myself outside a courtroom, prepared to humor and add suspicions before the state, because I don't really believe David killed himself either. Now, just a quick pause here. We may be entering the trial, you know, stereotypical, I have to present evidence and do the card thing that we did kind of like in episode 0, and we're in high roller, so I assume I can bet chips and all, and surely I'm not right out the gate going to risk all of my chips that I can and lose them all and feel like a big dum-dum, right? Right? What was it recently? Oh, I think I even talked about this in episode 0, but if not, most recently in Romeo is a Dead Man from earlier this year, there's like a thing where you can replay bosses and you have to beat them on like a timer and they're stronger or whatever. And without fail, and you have to bet chips to then get back, like, or I don't know what the chips, whatever the money is in that game, the currency. You have to gamble away currency that you're betting that you could do it. And then if you fail, you lose your bet. And if you win, then it's like a multiplier or whatever. And without fail, I think I tried it like 6 times, and I think I succeeded once or twice, maybe. And I was always so overconfident in my abilities. I would always lose. So I lost so much upgrade money and material in that game just because I was like, oh, yeah, of course I could beat this boss in this amount of time. I'm so good. And then I never ran out of time. I think I always just died. I'm just bad. I'm so overconfident sometimes. Overconfident when I shouldn't be. Because I don't really believe David killed himself either. What's your progress bar at? I can confirm that I am making progress. Well, shit, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But it would be difficult to summarize that progress in terms of a completion percent. Give it your best shot anyway. 4%. Are you feeling confident in your case? Markedly less so, after hearing that. Do you think the judge will be amenable to your argument? What are you talking about? Do you know the judge we've been assigned? Are they particularly lenient or strict? Adjutants are always a coin flip, so... You do know what an adjutant is, don't you? Am I saying that? Adjutant? 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 Don't you? What if it's the old man judge from the Phoenix Wright trilogy that I'm oh so familiar with? Or a direct parody of him? Are you expecting to see a bearded old man with a robe and gavel when we get in there? Should I not? Adjutants are android judges, okay? And with the authority that entails. Noun, commercial name for automated dependent judicial models. That's where it's... Okay. Adjutants are automated dependents that preside over trials for the state, while most adjutants are described adjutants, are designed and sold as software and then loaded onto courthouse-specific hardware, including android bodies. They can interpret trial proceedings and render judgment based entirely on stenographer records if need be, ruling on cases in an entirely digital capacity. Oh, it's just like in a baseball. They have I think it's new. I don't know. I don't keep up with sports as much as I used to, just in general. But I think this year is when they're doing like the kind of like VAR in soccer, that like the camera automatic like tracking thing. I'm not making much sense. They basically can like with a computer track where the baseball went, and so like if an umpire rules like ball or strike, and then a plate or the pitcher, or I guess the pitcher or the catcher can challenge like a ball or strike call, basically. I would give it just a few years until umpires are just completely... They still probably would exist. They probably still have a job, but they're not making... I bet they won't be making the ball and call strikes. Ball and call strikes. The ball and strike calls. That's what I meant to say. And that has been Austin's official sports corner for the stream. Anyway, load onto courthouse specific hardware. Great. I already read all that. Ruling case entirely digital. Yes. Reviews of adjutants by third parties has shown that they are overwhelmingly more equitable and even-handed in their sentencing than human judges. Because they cannot be bribed or intimidated, adjutants are especially preferred for cases involving organized crime or corporate misconduct. Adjutants use a ninefold personality engram for rendering their judgments and building consensus, known as the nonary system used among software engineers. Because each of these 9 personas are constructed by a different think tank or institution from across the political spectrum, ideological contamination in adjutant units is practically impossible. Interesting. There have been a small number of reported cases where nonary processing has borne particularly enthusiastic or eccentric personas, presumably in an unorthodox, if not effective, attempt to reconcile particularly disparate opinions across their 9 constituent personalities with a single authoritative loud voice. With the state's court backlog essentially cleared for the past half-decade, questions arose as to the continued need for adjutants to lighten the judicial system's human resource burden, but Senate Investigative Committee 74JD91 determined that removing adjutants from the legal system would be prohibitively expensive at this point. Interesting. All very interesting. I am surprised to hear that people are willing to accept rulings made by automated dependents. Rulings come from landmark cases in the higher courts. Those are passed down by actual judges, real people with decades of study and experience. But not every eviction case or traffic ticket that ends up in court requires years of legal expertise. Sometimes all you need is a referee and a sentencing algorithm. So, androids are used to reduce caseload. Been that way for decades. But how was a law that replaced judges ever enforced? Wouldn't there be injunctions, stalling? Judges did fight it for years at every level and in every theater. But the public lost their patience for that kind of obstruction during the 60s. The state needed to shred budgets across the board, and so judges that couldn't be replaced by years of legal battles were instead ushered into early retirement by the unrelenting force of our great nation's accountants. And it's not controversial having machines determine sentencing for human beings. Whatever controversy there is gets aimed at the machines, not the people who put them there. And the machines can't lose sleep over it. Besides, used to be that even the most high-profile crimes wouldn't get a court date until weeks or months later. Nowadays, most crimes are prosecuted within a single business week. And that's not rushing things. Keeps people in my line of work on their toes, that's for sure. I'm just surprised to hear that there's so much haste. Don't they teach you about classical conditioning in android school? You gotta feed the dog immediately after you ring the bell. If punishment doesn't follow the crime in quick succession, the lesson doesn't stick. I see. But if adjutants are so effective, why aren't they used in every trial? Why aren't they used in politics? That's a logical question to ask. And the answer is, that logic only gets you so far when it comes to people. Doesn't everyone want the courts to be as just as possible? If adjutants are truly impartial and incorruptible, everyone wants justice, sure, but there are other considerations to be had. Such as disgust. What? That's all people really care about. What all their morals boil down to. Just what they do or don't find disgusting. Only problem is, everything's more palatable when viewed through a screen. So when everyone sees the world through AR and cameras and no one ever gets dirt under their fingernails, you'd be surprised what you can get away with. I don't understand. Yeah, well, therein lies the problem. (6:24 p.m. July 1st, 2086. Courtroom, 48D. Oh, it's Emma. I really like Morgan, and obviously we've spent much more time with Morgan, developing, fleshing out her character, whatever. but there's a possibility that I'm gonna become like I'm probably not become, but I think possibly Emma might be, with our small taste of Emma so far, maybe my favorite character, or potential, like the highest ceiling potential for like a character for a fave of mine, you know? Does that make sense? Just a preliminary hearing, huh? You wouldn't know it from the look on her face. But I shouldn't have expected any leeway once we stepped into the courtroom. I talked about it before. The framing of the whole Morgan versus Emma thing is very interesting to me. I think that dynamic, the opposition, I think is very exciting. I think it's two very strong personalities. I mean, again, I talk shit about my time with the Phoenix Wright trilogy from a few years back, but like, obviously people really liked, and one of the dynamics that even I was like, oh, this is fun, is like, obviously in the courtroom, Phoenix versus Miles, or whatever that lady's name was, or, you know, whenever you have someone that really just wants to beat you in the courtroom in this very dramatic way, it's fun. It's fun. It's a good dynamic. All the kids love it. But I shouldn't have expected any leeway once we stepped into the courtroom. Not with her. That's the adjutant up there. Is it asleep? Well, look at the design on this. That's kind of cool. Futuristic. Is it like on a floating platform, like chair throne thing? I think that's cool. It's loading. It needs to load? Don't be rude. Not every ad can afford to be decked out as extravagantly as you. Especially not those that state buys in bulk. There's an audience. You mean the gallery? That's nothing. Could have been a lot worse. Word of any trial in the case of David Asher's death must have spread like wildfire, even a mock trial like this one. Detectives like Reyes or London would get chewed out for leaking things to the press. But uninformed officers had little to lose and a lot to gain by dropping a text to their attentive friends in the media. And then there's the corporate plants. Interns, usually. Preferably ones with modded eyes. It's illegal to film inside a courtroom, but this is the year 2086. Things are going to get out one way or another. I don't like having my face on camera. Don't like attention in general. But I'm not such a coward that I would skip David's funeral just because there'd be paparazzi outside of it. My pretty little likeness was going to end up in the background of some tabloid photograph one way or another by the end of this circus. At least this way, it's decent marketing for my legal services. What'll happen once the adjutant finishes loading? How will the trial proceed? With all those films you watch, I'd figure that you could extrapolate. I am asking so as to correct any misconceptions. Well, not everything you saw on the silver screen is outdated. The court will come to order, and there will be a clarification of the charges. The defense enters a plea, and if it's not guilty, the prosecution begins making their case. That means calling witnesses to the stand, correct? Mostly. Sometimes they'll testify virtually from a separate location. Depends on the security concerns surrounding the particular individual in the case. What do you do then? Sit here and watch? Not if I want to get paid. I cross-examine witnesses after the prosecution are done questioning them. I can present evidence or witnesses of my own in response, as long as I have discovery backing me. You've said that before. Discovery means just that I can't pull stuff out of my pockets and present it without any kind of context. I have to have proof that I acquired it legally during the course of my investigation. Most of the time, that means having recordings or witnesses that can verify my investigation, which I can provide. You didn't think I was letting you tag along because I liked you, did you? And the jury? I don't see where they would sit. Jury hasn't sat in an actual courtroom for years now. They have their own chambers, where they watch a feed of the trial's proceedings in anonymity. And that's not an issue? Don't people want to look someone in the eye before passing judgment on them? You've got an old-fashioned sense of justice, don't you? But there's no jury at a preliminary hearing anyway. It's only meant to evaluate whether or not the prosecution has enough evidence to go to trial. A mere formality in today's day and age. With tools like optics and arcs, there's never any shortage of evidence to work with. So all you have to do today is convince the adjutant? Easier said than done. Adjutants lean heavily towards evidence over arguments. And right now, all the evidence suggests that David killed himself. If it's going to be an uphill battle, I can't afford to stumble. I need to focus on establishing an alternate interpretation of the facts, and it needs to be solid. But I don't have a suspect or even a motive for killing David. Yet. Anyway, I'll need to be sharp. Emma doesn't play nice enough for me to be anything less. I think it's waking up. Oh, another voice I don't have in the chamber. This third lower court is now in session. Adjutant AD_84 presiding. I call to order the case of the People versus Asher. Do the people wish to make an opening statement? No, Your Honor. No point in bothering when it's just the adjutant here. Very well. Do the defense wish to make an opening statement? Not at this time, Your Honor. Might as well ring the bell to get the shit show started. If neither the people nor the defense wish to make an opening statement, then it falls to me to set the stage. My model name is Adjutant. My unit designation code is AD84. I am a machine, an automated dependent. Oh, she's chewing the scenery. And I serve the state by presiding over trials. You might find yourself wondering why. What gives a machine the right to judge a human? A fair question, but the answer is simple. In every culture, in every society, no matter how it is worshipped, enshrined, or deified, justice is one defining quality. Justice is beautiful. Like a balanced equation, like the golden ratio, like the Vitruvian man, justice is beautiful. So what gives me the right? This gorgeous bod. Damn, diva. What a diva, man. I didn't say it out loud, but I was like, what are the odds that like it's gonna be such a high personality character here? We were not gonna get a plain as day android here in the courtroom. This gorgeous bod. Blank stares. Whatever. Forget it. Forget I said anything. I was trying to lighten the mood, but I can see everyone hates me. Do the trial without me. They're guilty. Or whatever. Very good. Your Honor? Wait, what the flip? This defendant's already dead. Why are we doing this? Is this a debug thing? Because I'll log the error if I need to. No, Your Honor. This is a preliminary hearing to determine whether David Asher did in fact commit suicide as he... I get it. You want to make sure he wasn't cuckoo in the cranium before you cut up his will like a T-bone. I didn't realize that adjutants were so lively. They aren't. They're supposed to be austere and statuesque. Looks like we got served the most in need of repairs adjutant the court system could find. Whatever paper pusher we rushed to get this trial going must have wanted a little payback for the kindness. What's that look for? Could it be your trying to size me up? Gosh, she's so cool. What? Ooh, wouldn't dream of it, Your Honor. Good, because if you have doubts about my ability to run this trial, I could always just enact summary judgment here and now. I'm sure you'd find my ruling to be fair and even-handed. That won't be necessary, Your Honor. She's much more of a character than I'm used to seeing up there, even counting all the flesh and blood judges I've met. But she's still just an adjutant. She'll follow the evidence where it leads. So long as I can make a few adjustments for the occasional outburst from the bench, my plan's still workable. So, people, shall we get started with that first witness? Right away, Your Honor. The people called Dr. Yumi Sato to the stand. A likely first witness. I lost the word witness in my head there. It's Yumi. Hey. So how about it, pretty lady? You swear to tell the whole and unadulterated truth to the best of your ability? I do. Good enough for me. Dr. Sato, you were in charge of the autopsy for David Asher, were you not? I was. And when did you make your examination? I started last night. Well, technically, 1 a.m. would be very early this morning. I think you can still say last night if you're talking about 1 in the morning. Objection! The defense will have their opportunity to cross-examine. Until then, they should refrain from making errant remarks. The hell? All I said was... Yeah, what she said. You mean sustained? Don't get cute with me, counselor. Hey, what? You can't take my coins. I didn't even get a chance. I'm losing coins just because I was trying to act cool earlier, and now just for no reason. And I'm upset. I'm gonna need all the coins I can get. Being cute is my job. God damn, barely gotten started. That seemed pretty bad, Adonai. Halt, heads up. Making mistakes will increase your blind. Okay, yeah. Blind, -1. Sure. Blind is how much credit you'll lose for answering incorrectly when you yourself aren't controlling the ante. Okay, so it's teaching that the reason is it's teaching me a mechanic. Okay. I'm scared. I'm nervous. I'm scared. I'm scared and I'm nervous. Blind. Okay, so how much credit you lose? So you build up a blind just like in poker terms. You're blind. You're blind. So then, yeah, basically it's saying if you then lose the bet, then you would lose. Blind increments on its own throughout the trial as stakes get higher, but resets at the end of each day. Blind starts at and caps out at a higher number if you're playing in high roller, which I am. Mind the blind numbers in the top left when it appears. It helps you gauge what you stand to lose. It helps you get nervous of selecting the wrong things. Oh, God. All right. I'm going to do good. Don't worry. I got this. We should try to avoid being penalized in the future. Thanks for the tip. Shake it off. I'll get my chance to raise objections of my own soon enough. Dr. Sato, were you able to determine the cause of death? He passed away due to respiratory failure. Could you explain what that means to the court? Essentially, he wasn't getting enough oxygen into his blood. Seems by the time he arrived at the hospital, he was no longer breathing. What does respiratory failure look like? What are the symptoms? There would be lightheadedness, dizziness, fainting, pale skin, and a bluish tinge around certain extremities. And the condition he was in matched those symptoms? Correct. In your experience, what are the most common causes of respiratory failure? It can be caused by injury or disease, but the subject had no wounds or reported illnesses, and otherwise appeared to be perfectly healthy. And what else could cause respiratory failure then? It is also commonly seen in fatal drug overdoses. Drug overdoses. Did you perform a tox screen on Dr. Asher? Yes, but his tox screen came back clean. Whatever killed him, it wasn't something we've encountered before. Wait, a clean tox screen? Clean? Dialogue will proceed automatically during testimony, but you can still choose to advance text manually with continue. Dialogue will proceed automatically during testimony. You'll need to read carefully and wait for the witness to make a statement that sounds wrong. Oh my god, is this like the Danganronpa like trial thing where you gotta like stop on a... That's not true! That's what it feels like. You'll need to read carefully and wait for the witness to make a statement that sounds wrong. I'm so nervous. I'm hella nervous right now. It's so much pressure. Fuck. Okay. Then hit the call button to call their bluff. Oh boy. Hover over the call button or toggle on insight to focus on the claims within a witness statement. Insights can be disabled in settings. Hover over the call button or toggle on insight to focus on the claims within a witness statement. Hover over the call button. Hover. Testimony will loop until you call. Okay, so I don't know if there's actually a time. There might not be a time limit. Like in a Danganronpa thing, you technically have a time limit, you know? Can't let this chance slip by. I need to catch her mistake the second it comes out of her mouth. Oh, I like this music. Oh, I think I have to press X. Oh, okay, yeah, here we go. Whiskey, David's contract. Upright cup. The subject passed away due to respiratory failure. Essentially, he wasn't getting enough oxygen into his blood. He would have experienced lightheadedness, dizziness, then fainting. As the subject was healthy, the respiratory failure must be attributed to a drug overdose. When a tox screen was run at the hospital, it came back clean. It was puzzling to say the least. Is it that last statement? The one. Something she said just now doesn't make sense. I have evidence that directly contradicts her, so I just need to find the right moment to present it. The things we saw were the... Okay, so... Would it be this? Because that was what we were originally wondering, like... I'm so afraid. I'm so afraid. Subject passed away due to a respiratory failure. It's basing that this might be the tutorial thing and this is our first time doing this. I'm gonna say it was handed to us that the weird thing is that it's a clean toxicology report. Respiratory failure must be attributed to drug overdose. When a tox screen was run at the hospital, came back clean. Call. After choosing to call in a statement, you need to respond with evidence. Okay, this is where I might fuck up. Look over the 3 cards that show up and confirm your card before the timer runs out. Oh, now I'm on a timer. A whiskey? David's contract? This? I just selected. I picked out of panic. I don't know what I'm doing. Dude, this goes back to flashbacks of like Danganronpa where like I might be like so lost in the sauce and I'm just like selecting things and then I'm just like, fuck, what does the game want me to select? And I panic and I pick things I know I shouldn't be picking, but I'm just picking. I'm like, you're joking, right? Just trying to keep things light. But that's supposed to be my job. So quit scabbing. Overruled. Oh my god, we just lost a ton of chips, and we're about to lose more. I'll need to choose my objections more carefully if I want to get anywhere. Whiskey? Okay, so whiskey, David's contract. It wouldn't have anything to do with the contract. That's a fucking massive red herring. Doesn't make any sense. Whiskey. It's got to be whiskey then, right? Because wouldn't whiskey show up in a toxicology report? Is that what it's trying to say? I think that is what it's trying to say. I panicked and picked upright cup for some reason. I think whiskey would show up in a toxicology report. Now that I think about it with a clear head, I think I've got the idea. I just had to test what happens when you get it wrong, you know? Oh, I can manually go this. This. Call! Whiskey. Hiya! Yeah! Alright, you know, it was just a test. I was just testing everyone who's watching to make sure we're all on the same page. Don't worry about it. It's impossible for David Asher's talk screen to be clean, and we all know it. Okay, so now that we know, how many coins did I get back? Oh, look at that. I basically got back what I lost. Everything's fine. It's like it never happened. Okay, so basically, before the rotating sentences go in, really look at the options for the evidence and really try to, like, visualize. That's what I got to keep in mind. Don't blindly. Okay, now that I know that the timer thing happens, if I wasn't on the timer, I think I would have been fine. I think I would have had no problem. It's the timer that messed me up. Since he was on camera drinking alcohol the night that he died. Ah, that makes sense. What is this? Oh. Chivo. And that scared you? The witness merely misspoke, Your Honor. As it plainly states on the tox report itself, Dr. Asher did have alcohol in his blood, but not at such a concentration as to be lethal. Yeah, my bad. When I said the tox screen was clean, I just meant it didn't tell the attending physicians anything they didn't already know. Overall, a little more nitpicky than I like to be, but at least I was able to balance the momentum, more or less. Shall we continue, Dr. Sato? If the tox screens were negative for pharmaceuticals and drugs, what caused Dr. Asher's respiratory failure? During my autopsy, I analyzed his blood and was able to isolate a foreign compound. So there was a lethal dose of a drug inside his body. Just happened to be a drug that the hospital had never encountered before. That's correct. I think we're all going to get tired pretty fast if we don't at least pick a placeholder name for this substance, Your Honor. The people don't object, Your Honor. In that case, I'll put all my creative heuristics to work coming up with an original scientific fitting name for the substance. A name like Omega. Omega-3. That name is already taken. Fine, call it Delta, or whatever. Delta, used in science to denote an unknown variable. Not bad. Delta has other meanings when it comes to drugs. But yeah, our Delta matches no known public pharmacology or toxicology records. That being said, chemically, it does have all the hallmarks of a general depressant. I know the feeling. So it stands to reason that it would exhibit a similar effect on the body when ingested. You say ingested. Why? I eliminated all other possibilities during my examination of the body. He must have swallowed it, and judging from his stomach contents, it must have been a liquid. Thank you, Dr. Sato. Shall I summarize things for the court? Yes, please. I wasn't listening that closely. The victim died of respiratory failure, and his tox screen showed that his blood was clear of anything that could cause respiratory failure, except for this unknown substance, the poison we've labeled Delta. Well, that sounds like a textbook suicide. Should we wrap it up here? Not quite yet, Your Honor. This may clearly be poisoning, but there's at least one detail about this case that doesn't feel like a suicide at all. David's autopsy tox screen poison question mark? Janko David, didn't see him add anything, corroborated by cam footage. I think we've got to go... Why would I put David's autopsy if David's autopsy is already up there? I'm going to say the testimony by Jung. Hiya! The people shouldn't get ahead of themselves. There's nothing textbook about a supposed suicide that had a witness sitting there watching it happen. As you say. Well, now I'm lost. Was this poisoning a suicide or not? If that's the case, then perhaps we should give the defense the opportunity to cross-examine. Unless they're going to insist on testifying themselves. How kind of you to offer? Ball's in my court now, so how do I counter? Emma's argument basically goes as follows. What is this? David ingested the Delta knowingly, and the Delta caused his respiratory failure. He died of respiratory failure, thus David committed suicide. Oh shit, it's blackjack. God, there's so many little mini games in this thing. During blackjack, every piece of information you learn deals you a card. Choose only the questions that are logical and relevant, and only press if you think a line of questioning is worth continuing. God, this is so much pressure. It's so much pressure. It does remind me a lot of like Danganronpa, where Danganronpa throws like little mini games at you, and then you're like, I don't know what the game wants me to pick here, and then you're just left to die. Choose only the questions that are logical and relevant, and only press if you think a line of questioning is worth continuing, or else you'll go bust and lose credit. Select the press option to see what the follow-up question would be. You can only win blackjack when you reach exactly 21. So don't press further if you're already there. And don't ask the wrong questions. Oh, easier said than done, text box. With my cross-examination, I need to put a microscope over the weakest part of that argument, and hope that some cracks will appear under pressure. Oh boy, are you sure Delta is to blame? Are you sure it was respiratory failure? Are you sure it was ingested? Oh god. Give me... Are you sure Delta's to blame doesn't feel right? Are you sure it was respiratory failure? Doesn't seem right either. Are you sure it was ingested? I'm gonna go with this. Dr. Sato, you said that the subject had to have ingested the Delta orally, but how sure can we actually be of that? Pretty sure. I mean, I could go into detail about all the cavities that I checked, but... Do I want to press into that? Was it knowingly stay? What happens if I press? I kind of want to see what happens. But how sure can we be that the subject ingests the delta knowingly? Well, we can't be sure of that. Certainly not just from an autopsy. You said it must have been a liquid, yes? Would it have been a large amount? Depends on the concentration of the delivery solution. Could have been just a drop. Kind of thing that could easily go unnoticed, yes? Calls for speculation, Your Honor? Withdrawn. Oh man, I want to jump on her case. Okay. Asking this middle question just seems like that's really not what... I'm going to say, are you sure Delta's to blame? Dr. Sato, you were only able to even identify the presence of this Delta after hours of work. Can you really be sure that this never-before-seen chemical can cause respiratory failure? Well, I have had time to run simulations, and they do give every indication that it would act as a depressant. Ingest enough of any depressant and respiratory failure would occur. I would press, yeah? I like the eyebrow moving. Should I press because I'm not at 21? Is that what the... You've run simulations? So you haven't tested Delta on an actual person? No, I haven't. That would be very difficult to do given our extremely limited sample. Not to mention highly unethical. Of course. Without such a test, you don't actually know for sure that Delta can cause any of the symptoms you described. Okay, so I think, basically, this seems to be like you're presented with a few questions, and obviously this is the first one, so maybe there's more questions that you shouldn't, ask or whatever. But basically, you have to look at the questions that the game presents to you, and then look at them and be like, oh, this one or these ones. Basically, order them in your head and be like, which of these would I think would give us the most information? And then basically, through process of elimination, pick the ones that you think would get the most info for you. And then avoid the ones that are the dumbest. Like, that middle one was the one that's like, well, of course it was respiratory failure that caused the death because that's what ended up happening kind of thing. So you're like, well, we definitely wouldn't pick that, so I'm going to pick the other one. I picked the first one that seemed the most obvious, and then I'll go from there and see how it builds up to 21 and slowly work your way up to 21. Now, the pressing thing, maybe just press if it seems like it could be something interesting added on. But I'm less sure about that mechanic. But I seem to have done fine, so... I felt good pressing there because I didn't want to slip into that last question that seemed like it'd be failure at that point. So I was like, okay. Got the ace we needed. Was there a question in that statement, counselor? You don't actually know for sure, do you? No, not yet, anyway. Seems like that's... Blackjack. Oh, I love this style. I love this. I love this UI. This is so good. Reach 21 in blackjack. I win. Thank you for your time, Dr. Sato. We all appreciate it. But it does seem like we're still in the dark about many details regarding Dr. Asher's death, wouldn't you say? Well, poisoning via the compound we're calling Delta is still the most likely explanation. So there are other explanations for what happened. Defense is calling for speculation, Your Honor. It's not speculation when a medical examiner is attempting to explain the cause of death, Your Honor. The witness will answer the question. Well, respiratory failure can be caused by illnesses. If he had undiagnosed pneumonia or some other disease, and his respiratory system was weakened. Undiagnosed pneumonia with his level of healthcare? It is technically possible. I'll take it. I have no more questions for this witness. Ugh, I felt weak, but I can't be picky when I'm stalling for time. Seeding doubt wherever I can, however I can. It's just about all I can manage. Detective Reyes, you are one of the leads in investigating this crime scene. Yes, ma'am. And did you interview the EMTs who first arrived on the scene? I did. They responded to an emergency signal from the home security console, located in the kitchen. What did they find when they arrived on the scene? The victim was unconscious, on the floor of his parlor. He was receiving CPR from a witness, the individual who had called them. They were both airlifted to Gatesfield Memorial Hospital. Dr. Asher was declared dead shortly after arriving there. She's actually handling herself pretty well up on the stand. Half expected her to roll her eyes during the swearing in. But when you take into consideration her love for boot heel authority, she might be right at home here in the courtroom, the very seat of the state's power over the people. The witness met with the deceased about a half hour before he fell ill, from 7:30 to 8 p.m. The two of them talked for some time and shared a drink. Shortly after, Dr. Asher became distracted, lightheaded, and eventually non-responsive. And during the same time period, drinking the same liquor, this witness exhibited no symptoms of themselves? None. Though through a collaborative effort with Noble Electronics Security Division, we searched the entire building, but we found nothing unusual in any of the food or drink on the premises, including the bottle that the witness and the deceased drank from. So what was your ultimate conclusion after investigating the scene? Whiskey bottle was clean, the witness drink was clean. Only person who got sick was Dr. Asher, drinking from a cup that he had prepared. So it was our determination that that David Asher committed suicide by poisoning himself. Wow, I really butchered that sentence. So it was our determination that David Asher committed suicide by poisoning himself. She's pretty tight-lipped up there, but I think she slipped up at least once. Police want to claim that they've eliminated every other possibility and covered every angle, but I know that there are a number of blind spots that they're not willing to admit to. Upright cup, no. David's cup, maybe. Poison? Question mark. Asher met with the witness at 7:30 p.m. last night, and by 8 p.m. he was dead. He's the one who prepared their drinks. Yeah, this is very Danganronpa-like. And there was no opportunity for the witness to ever slip him something. He drank from a cup that he himself poisoned. Seems pretty cut and dry if you ask me. Since I'm not on a timer, just like I would do in Danganronpa, I think I want to like see all the statements. But just to be sure, we scanned the kitchen, the lab, the basement, and there was no poison anywhere else. She slipped up there and made a claim she can't actually support. All I need to do is point out, and then I'll get to watch her self-destruct, which should be fun. So it's gonna be... Is it the knocked over cup? He's the one who prepared the drinks. I might be off. It's always these double things. You have two variables you have to account for: the evidence part and then the actual sentence part. I'm gonna try here, knowing full well I'm probably wrong. I'm gonna try though. Hiya! Fuck. Always seeing that animation that you failed. I'm like, gosh, fuck. That's cute, counselor. You almost made a salient point. Do I get points for that? Boy, I hope not. Otherwise, I wouldn't get to do this. Overruled. Okay, well, I mean, you know, I'm just keeping everyone on their toes. Okay. Upright cup. David's cup. What did it poison, question mark? Poison, question mark. David's cup gets knocked over. See, the sentences I want to try... God, there's 3 cards and 2 statements I feel it could be. Can I, Oh, I can, Oh, wait. We didn't look at our profile thing here. September 2nd, date of birth. Likes raw salmon, running water, and gymnastics. Dislikes criminals, contrarians, and pigeons. type? Open, obedient, observant O people. 3 sizes, bust waist height, or bust waist hips. That's what I meant to say. Wait, can I not look at evidence? Oh, I can. I totally can. Wait. I thought I couldn't access the evidence, but that I during this part, but I was like, oh, that's weird. Like usually in games like this, you should be able to. What is poison question mark exactly? An identified substance found in the bloodstream of David Asher. Sure, that's the delta. So I don't think we would pick that. It's gonna be one of the cups. Too much of the whiskey was drunk and or evaporated. Where's the other cup? Where's that? Do I have another cup? Jung's cup. Okay, I'm gonna try then. It was too much ingested because it wasn't tested. I'm gonna say David's cup. David's cup on, not this statement. He's the one. No, and there was no opportunity for Vince to ever slip him something. No, he drank from a cup that he himself poisoned. Seems pretty cut and dry. We scanned the kitchen, the lab, the basement. It might be this. This and his cup. No poison anywhere else. I'm pretty... Which of those 2 statements do I want to do? Wait, didn't I do cup and the other statement before? And it was wrong? Let me call this. Cup. Please be right. I don't want to lose more coins. Okay. We got a problem. I got a problem. I'm so bad. Help! I'm losing so much coins. Okay, up. Oh my god. I remember like the worst moments of Danganronpa. They're all coming back to me. And by worst, I mean the most embarrassing moments where I'm like, David's cup, outright cup, poison? Alright, I'm opening up my mind palace right now. He drank from a cup that he himself poisoned. I do like this music. It's helping me focus in a weird way. We but just to be sure, we scanned the kitchen, the lab, and the basement, and there was no poison anywhere else. Would it be that statement? Would it be the cup? Because they hadn't tested... Maybe it's that statement with his cup. I think I'm right about the cup thing. Forensic analysis shows matches for his fingerprint saliva, but toxicology tests have proven inconclusive. Too much of the whiskey was drunk and or evaporated. Maybe it's this. This on the last statement? God, I keep trying the cup on everything. Oh shit, yeah. I keep thinking there's a statement after it. Oh my god. Do I need to look? I'm gonna lose all the coins. Part of me. This is so embarrassing, dude. Oh my god. Upright cup, David. I don't think poison question mark is a thing. Upright cup. Contains no traces of foreign elements. Right. feel like it's got to be his cup, but I feel like I've tested almost every important statement on the cup, and I don't want to have to look up the answer just because I'm concerned about losing coins. Should I just take my coins and buy things now? What if I buy the rose gold phone? Oh, can I not do it? Oh, I don't think you can buy things. Never mind. At this moment. I really tried, though. Shit, dude. David's poison. Oh, it's probably so obvious. Someone's probably watching this and being like, it's so obvious. And I'm like... I'd rather look like a fool over and over again than look up the answer. I'm just probably not seeing something. I just don't think it's Jung's cup. The upright cup. Let me see the statements again. Asher met with the witness. Yes. That wouldn't be a statement we would challenge. That makes no sense. He's the one who prepared the drinks. Sure. Yes. And there was no opportunity for the witness to ever slip him something. Is it the statement that there's no opportunity? There was no opportunity for the... But I don't know what of the three evidence that I have. No opportunity for the witness to ever slip him something. No opportunity. Because didn't he leave for a second? Wasn't that the whole thing? I'm gonna try that. I don't believe 100%, but... I just don't know what piece of evidence I would do with this. Picking poison seems really bad here too. I don't know what to pick. I'm thinking so many different angles. I'm thinking, oh my god, I'm losing all my coins. Chips. I keep calling them coins. Oh fuck. This is one of those moments where you can check to make sure that I'm not actually using a guide ever on a game, because I'm like, unless I say, because David's cup poison, David's cup upright. The blind is at 10 now. Oh man, I'm being heavily brutalized. I could be faking it. For the C word, faking it for the C word. That'd be insane of me to do. I gotta be honest. Because like I said, I feel more embarrassed now than anything. There's only so many statements here that you can actually pick. I mean... I'm about to lose all the chips that I had. This is just a statement. He's the one who prepared their drinks. He did prepare the drinks, right? There's no opportunity for the witness to ever slip him something. I've actually selected so many different choices, combinations of the evidence card and the statements that now I'm like trying to remember exactly what I've already picked. It could be, is it something to do with one of the two statements? He drank from a cup that he himself poisoned. I'm gonna try that. I was dancing all around it, dude. I was dancing all around it. I had the idea that his cup wasn't tested properly. I had that. I just wasn't picking the right statement. But, like, I was trying to put that on other statements. Ah, fuck, dude. I mean, again, I'm not heavily criticizing it, but it's that thing. It's just like in Danganronpa, where you're like, I have the thing. I have the thing. I understand. I read the bit where it said that the cup couldn't have been tested correctly. I just wasn't selecting the right statement. Ah, that's so frustrating for me. I lost so many coins, dude. I lost so many coins. Coins, chips. Damn it. No. Shit. Okay, it's fine. We can recover. We can totally come back from this. You can't make that claim. Not when the evidence record clearly shows that tests of Dr. Asher's cup were inconclusive. I had that. I was there. Give me back 1,000,000 coins, please. The police can't claim he drank from a poisoned cup without first proving that his cup was, in fact, poisoned. You're talking a lot of sense, lady. Does it resolve? Or do you have a response, D.A. Rockford? Testing on the deceased cup has been inconclusive so far, Your Honor. I don't dispute that. Though I'd be surprised if the defense has any idea how else the poison could have possibly been delivered to Dr. Asher alone. Not at this time. But that's the funny thing about the burden of proof. It's not on the defense. As we're all aware. Right. We all knew that. I definitely knew that. I love her character poses. They're all so good. Secret. Great character. Non-main character, but great character. Now, if the people are done bemoaning that pesky innocent until proven guilty issue, perhaps I could begin my cross-examination. Fire away, baby! Fire away? Baby. Reyes' testimony is meant to show that David's the only one who could have poisoned himself. She'll be on guard and hard set against helping me, but if I keep her focused on eliminating other possibilities, I could get her to make my point for me before she even realizes what's happened. Could he have been poisoned off camera, I will ask. Detective, isn't it possible that Dr. Asher was poisoned off camera? Possible. Don't know how else it would have been done. But that just goes to show it had to have been suicide. The only time he was... Oh, God. The only time he was off camera, he was all by himself. Shit, that's not where I want to lead the conversation. It might certainly seem that way, yes. Ever seen poisoning himself, I'll select. Detective, we've been doing a lot of assuming and reasoning in quick succession, so I'll ask this plainly for the court. Is there any photographic evidence showing David Asher adding anything to his drink that night? No. Seems he had already poured for the both of them by the time he returned to the parlor. He had already poured? In that case, the next question should be when and what? Is this got replaced? Could he have poisoned off camera? So that question got moved up. Any poison in the kitchen? Detective Reyes, during the course of your investigation, did you find any samples of Delta in the kitchen or parlor? No. That was a fast answer. Well, it was a pretty easy question. If we had found poison at the scene of the crime, that'd be pretty important, don't you think? What about in his lab? His bedroom? His basement? No, no, and no. We didn't find Delta or any other unusual substance in any part of his penthouse. Right. They've never found any poison. No poison at all? Press. What about a poison container? At any point in the investigation, was poison found on the body of the deceased? No. He must have been searched. Did he have any capsules or vials? Eyedroppers? Didn't even have his wallet on him. Why? I guess I would ask this then. Anyone else in the building? The only people you saw in the cameras that night were Dr. Asher and this witness, correct? Yeah. There's no footage in the house of anyone else. Are there any parts of the house that aren't recorded by camera? Sure. There are a number of rooms in the home's interior that don't have cameras in them. So it's possible that there were other people there that night because cameras weren't watching every room. No, it's not possible. The only way up to the penthouse is through the building's elevator or the fire escape stairs, both of which are on camera. And that still wouldn't get you past his front door, which is also on camera. No one besides the two of them were there that day. Stay. We're at 21. Stay. Thank you for enlightening the court about this point, Detective. What point? Well, I think it's strange, don't you, Detective? I mean, how could he have possibly poisoned himself without first procuring some poison? Blackjack. 21. What do you mean, procure? Where did it come from, Detective? The poison that you're so sure was dissolved in his drink. Can't have come from thin air, you understand? Had to have been in another container at some point. Whatever was in before it probably evaporated. All of it? It only took a small droplet to kill. Your Honor, are you going to ask them to keep it civil? In a minute, sure. There wasn't any pill bottle in his bathroom or syringe in his pocket containing this apparently deadly substance. So how did he get it? What did he keep it in? The police want to claim that Dr. Asher committed suicide because they've established that his guests never had an opportunity to kill him. But they failed to prove that the victim had the means to kill himself. Then I guess I'll be the one to move things along. The Delta didn't come out of thin air, counselor. And it didn't come from a syringe either. Dr. Asher was able to drip the poison right into his cup, straight from the source. Shit, it's way too specific to be bluff. Allow me to submit into evidence Exhibit G, a piece of machinery found in Dr. Asher's laboratory, sold under the product name Nanofacturer. Oh, I know this one. It's used in delicate scientific work to produce nanomachines, chemical compounds, and polymers. That's the same machine I saw when Dawes gave me a tour of the production floor. Very good, Your Honor. It's a valuable tool in any scientific laboratory. Dr. Asher was well acquainted with its use. As a matter of fact, he had a number of presets coded into it. Even the android can see where this is going. With just a few taps, he could reproduce any number of specific substances for his research, or any other chemical his heart desired, really. You think Randock Mechanics would allow their product to be used to produce illicit chemicals? Using the nanofacturer to make unlicensed drugs does go against the terms and conditions, so Dr. Asher's warranty is certainly null and void. But they can't hard code the machines to prevent the production of a drug that hasn't been invented yet. Dr. Asher died when his respiratory system failed because of a depressant overdose. For him, it would have been peaceful, like falling asleep. You see, he didn't need to commission a synthetic drug from some street vendor, or order an exotic poison from overseas. He could produce Delta at any time, in the comfort of his own home. A quick and painless death, readily available in under a minute at the touch of a button. Specifically, preset number 19. Damn. I thought I actually had something for a moment there, but I was playing into Emma's hand the entire time. Seems like we're done with this witness, Your Honor. Yes, ma'am. But before we move on, perhaps we should take a moment and put together a timeline of events as we know them. Not for me, of course, just in case someone else might need it. Simple enough. We know that Dr. Asher left the parlor and went down to the basement at 7:36 p.m. That's where he got the whiskey and the cups they drank from. The cameras show him returning to the parlor to drink with the witness at 7:40 p.m. And of course, you know that he fell ill and passed away shortly thereafter. Any objections so far, counselor? No. No, I think she's got that right so far. Not this time, no. Timeline you described is accurate, as we know it. As you say. With this latest piece of evidence, we now know that Asher could have easily dispensed the poison directly into his cup by placing it inside the manufacturer, activating the preset, and simply waiting 2 minutes. Easily accomplished during the 4 minutes he spent off camera from 7:36 to 7:40. Wouldn't you say? Ooh, a complete timeline of events. He had the means. He had the only opportunity. Seems like we're about ready to wrap up here, no? Where are we on that loading bar of yours, Sarah? Adonai, I had a feeling you'd say that. Well, counselor, are we done here? I have to raise, don't I? Aren't I admitting defeat then in theory if I say stay at this point? I'm gonna raise because I can't let her get away with it. Ha! Feels like we're missing at least one biggie here, folks. Namely, motive. Oh, right. I knew that. Wasn't getting excited to finish early or anything. This is a preliminary hearing, counselor. Our focus should be on the evidence, so... Just feels like an awful waste of taxpayer dollars to get us all down here for debate and not get to the truth of the matter, you know? So, I was hoping we wouldn't have to go through this next part. What are you talking about? Your Honor, if it pleases the court. Ooh, new evidence, gimme! This is a recording of a phone conversation dated at 6:30 p.m. last night between the deceased and a man he was in a relationship with. A man named Isaac Porter. Porter and David's breakup call? If Emma wants to present it here now, then the content must be... Relevance, Your Honor? Yeah, that... What bearing does this recording have on the case at hand? It establishes what emotional state the deceased was in on the day he died. Oh... Cool. Begin playback. Hello? Always so soft-spoken. Isaac, you there? Yeah. Yeah, I'm here. What's wrong? Don't know. Guess I wasn't expecting you to pick up. Why not? Did you mean to call me? Yeah, I did. You're gonna ask me how I've been? Yeah. How have you been? Christ, David. What's the matter? Whatever it is whatever I did, I'm sorry. Whatever you did? That's alright, man. I'm sure you are sorry. I just don't want any more apologies from you. I'm sorry. Okay. And I don't think I want anything from you anymore, David. What do you mean? I shouldn't have done this. This was unnecessary. My bad, man, for not taking the hints. With you, it's always better left unsaid, right? More efficient that way, so you can keep working. Isaac, if I've been distant with you, or... Nah, you haven't been distant with me, or cold with me, or anything with me for a while now. Isaac, just forget it, man. Forget I called. Forget it all, yeah? Let's just forget we were ever anything but strangers. That's all we were now, anyway. Isaac, recently I've been distracted, I know. Nah, don't worry about it. Really, we're good. Oh, okay. So do you need anything, or should I... Where did you even get this? All of Dr. Asher's incoming and outgoing phone calls were recorded by the building's penumbra system, and the recording continued for several seconds after each call was ended, for quality assurance. Remind me to check the terms and conditions on my next phone bill. Shall we hear the rest? Sigh. Gotta be the last time. Last time I let someone... The last time. Father. It might just be a call, but it makes for pretty damning evidence at this point in the discussion. So yeah, we have manufacturer recorded calls, phone calls received or made, common knowledge, yes. Some more evidence. Great. It might just be a call, but it makes it pretty. Oh yeah, I read that. Emma's got her means, opportunity, and motive all lined up. So why is she looking at me like that? That was depressing. Can we finish up without anything else that horrible? Emma's never been apologetic in victory. So does that mean this is just pity? Less than 2 hours before Dr. Asher died, Isaac Porter ended their relationship over the phone. Court can make a reasonable assumption about what kind of mental state Dr. Asher was in last night. It was a bad move, Miss Rockford. Then, if the people have nothing further to add, I've been feeling off my game all day, caught between corporate inbreeders and ant-brain protesters but pitying me, here and now, that's all it takes to get my blood properly boiling. It's about time for me to call my first witness, no? You want to keep going after that? What are you doing, counselor? Just calling the ultimate silver bullet, rock solid slam dunk witness a girl could ask for. Is here good? Does it matter where I put my hands? Miss Starling, thank you for coming here today. Of course, whatever I can do. What is your relation to the deceased? I was his executive assistant at Noble Electronics. I would arrange his meetings, coordinate communications between him and other departments, that sort of thing. Ultimate silver bullet. Starling's the only play I have right now. The only stalling tool I have left. For now, I should just focus on getting as much information from her as possible. Whether or not it's useful, it'll at least buy me some time. While Jess was being sworn in, Sarah mentioned that the hard drive is about 60% decrypted. God, Sarah, faster! Considering the rate Sarah's gone at so far, there's maybe another hour left. I might be able to stall that long. If I talk real slow. I'd like to ask you a few questions about Dr. Asher. Please answer them to the best of your ability. Right. Dr. Asher was a well-known public figure, but was he well regarded professionally? Of course. Dr. Asher's work set the bar for the entire automated dependent world. Stay focused, Spearman. You say you coordinated his communications. Were there ever threats? Did people ever express an intent to harm him? Objection. Calls for speculation. Intent. I'm feeling like that's going to be sustained. Did anyone ever threaten him? There were times when he was the focus of negative attention. How so? Dr. Asher was a favorite subject of many conspiracy theorists. With all his contributions to the field, it was easy for them to make claims about his influence. They'd say his work was plagiarized, or that he was hiding illegal subcommands in the technology he helped develop. And people would contact him about these conspiracy theories. Relevance. Whether or not people wanted to kill him? Well, withdrawn. Miss Starling? People would attempt to contact him, yes. But their messages were always too vague for the police to take action on. They would say that he belonged in jail, or that he couldn't avoid the truth, or that someone should do something to shut him up. Did they ever talk about hurting him? Yes, but I always turn those messages straight over to the police. Yeah, I'm seeing that on the record. Yeesh, who writes this stuff? All those cases have long since been resolved, Your Honor, and none of the parties involved have had contact with David Asher in years. Please take harassment very seriously. Something you want to add, counselor? Just clearing my throat. May I continue? You worked with David Asher for many years. Did you have a relationship outside of work? Did you ever talk about anything besides professional concerns? Sure, we've gone out to dinner or met on the weekends. I think he liked to pick my brain, since he needed relationship advice a lot. Even if he didn't realize that was what he was asking for. I like to think that he knew he could talk to me, but... Did he ever talk to you? Or to your knowledge anyone else about hurting himself? God, no, never. Do you know of any history he might have had with mental illness, depression, anxiety? No. So when you heard the people argue that Dr. Asher had done this to himself, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. You're saying that you can't believe. Objection. On what grounds? Asked and answered, stalling, and also, the people have documents that would be of interest to the court in this matter. Juicy. And what matter specifically are you referring to? The deceased's mental health history. Emma wouldn't be speaking up if she didn't have something real. So what the hell is this about? We have private correspondences that describe, if they're private, then they should not have been obtained by the people without his permission. He can't give permission if he's already dead, and we're well within our rights to obtain evidence as it pertains to his crime. Convincing. Damn. Didn't honestly expect to stop her from admitting her evidence in the record, but I was hoping to at least slow her. Where are you on that footage? 77%. Approximately. Hurry up faster, Sarah! I need to buy whatever time I can, however I can. Even if that means running out the clock as a punching bag. I have here messages between Dr. Asher and a psychiatrist he was meeting with and speaking to for the past year, along with paperwork detailing how this treatment was covered under his Platinum plan. Platinum? I don't intend to air all of Dr. Asher's secrets here in the court. Oh, okay, I guess. But I am prepared to read excerpts from messages and transcripts from phone calls, which, when put together, paint a clear picture of the kind of stress David Asher was experiencing. For some reason in my head, probably tired brain, I see the word David, and I'm like, doctor? D-word? And the dark thoughts he was struggling with. Transcripts of his phone calls. I'll admit them into evidence, assuming there are no objections. I'll stay. Object? No, I don't. Except what she said. No, I do object. No! Oh! Then say that the first time, yeah? On the grounds of... Damn, I'm just getting blasted. My oodles, my piles of chips just dwindle. I really, dude, High Roller, I lost so much in that one thing. That was the problem. That thing with the cup and Reyes. Ow. I'm not gonna sleep easy on that. My head will hit my pillow tonight, and I will be regretting that. On the grounds of foundation, where did you say you got this? It was retrieved from his digital records. There's no reason to doubt its authenticity. Even if I were to point out that David had an executive level 4 plan, not a platinum plan. Really? Really? Yes, really. It's all there in the record. This is easily explained. David had an executive plan that Noble managed for him, and he was also seeing the psychiatrist, both in person and over the phone. Your own witness has attested that he dealt with stalkers and was worried for his privacy. So it's easy enough to reason that he had a separate insurance policy paid for on his own. Even if only to keep one thing out of Noble's grasp. Sure, easy enough to make that assumption, but that doesn't make it correct. David used separate insurance to hide the psychiatrist from Noble's spying? No, he was smarter than that. Oh shit, oh my god, if I'm confident, I should bet. Is Sarah's financial value worth a lot of zeros? I don't think the evaluation would make sense. All building calls are recorded and monitored by Noble. Do I go full tilt here and recorded calls, yeah? Max bet? Really try to come back here? I just gotta do it because we gotta make back. Ha! David may have very well have wanted a private psychiatrist, someone who didn't work for Noble, who would have had his best interests at heart. But if so, he wouldn't have contacted them over the phone. Now, when he knew all his phone calls were being recorded, yeah, we take the small wins. We take the small wins. We take the small wins against all those defeats, baby. That's... David Asher was well versed in having every aspect of his life overanalyzed by data-hungry parasites. Do you really think he would try and hide mental health problems from them with a second insurance policy? Apparently, yes, since I'm standing here with evidence that shows exactly that. Does it, though? Pardon me? Yeah, like, what exactly are you suggesting, counselor? Still not done decrypting? Well, it's difficult to... Right. What the hell? Might as well swing for the fences at this point. I'm not trying to muddle the issue or confuse the court, Your Honor. And I would never make outlandish, unsubstantiated claims just for the sake of causing drama. What are you... I'm merely concerned that D.A. Rockford has been an unwitting pawn in an act of corporate espionage. That's a bold claim. What? If the markets were to open Monday with people believing that David Asher, the man who programmed the brain of every noble android, was battling mental health issues for the last several months... Objection, mischaracterization, foundation, all the rest. There are no corporate spies in this courtroom, counselor. There are no boogeymen hiding under the bench. Oh, thank God. David Asher was a once-in-a-generation intellect, an extremely valuable human asset to his employers. And his employers' many enemies would do whatever it takes to destroy his credibility now that he can't defend himself. And he was also your personal... You shouldn't even be here arguing this case in the first place, counselor. Now you're trying to call the police as evidence, gathering into question? All because you can't admit that for the past several months, your friend has been seeing a psychiatrist every Monday and you didn't know? That is... sorry, but like, did you still need me up here? I forgot that she was still standing up there. The witness will refrain from interrupting when girls are fighting. Yes, ma'am. How my luck's been so far, Sarah's progress bar is probably moving backwards right about now. And Emma's patience is wearing thin. This could be my last shot to create any kind of reasonable doubt. I'll be happy to wrap up my questioning if the court will allow. That seems cool with me. And my evidence, Your Honor, will be entered into the record. I'd like to hear a bit more testimony before deciding. It's fine, Your Honor. As you were, counselor. At this stage of the game, with the score where it's at, I can probably only ask one more question. Better make it count. So what can Starling tell us that no one else could? If she hadn't called me this morning, I wouldn't be standing here. And she only did that because... Miss Starling, we're all gathered here to try and figure out what happened to Dr. Asher last night. So please, tell us. When exactly did he last... What's the only thing that she would be able to answer? Contact you would not be it, I don't think. When's the last time? See you? It's more general. Meet you at HQ is a little bit more specific. Why would we care about meeting actually at HQ? Unless there's a... See you? Meet you at HQ. Do they want the specificity? I'm gonna try just see you. When was the last time that he and you... Problem, counselor? I only get one chance here. Can't waste on frivolous questions. Just doing a vocal exercise. Uh-huh. Take all the time you need. Thanks so much. What a sweetheart. Unlike me. Oh! Oh my god. I'm almost down to 0 chips, man. Okay, so it's not see you. Do I go back to contact you? Meet you at HQ? Oh, I have such a pained expression on my face right now. I don't just leave it to chance, do I? Contact you, meet you. Meet you at HQ. Contact you. I'm gonna try and meet you at HQ. When was the last time that he and you... Ah, shit. What are the chances? Honestly, do I go into negatives? No, I don't. Wait, if I lose all my chips, am I out? You put on a poor show. Summary judgment data should commit... Oh! Oh, I actually got a game over. I did so bad. No way, dude. What does that do to me? No way. Does that actually fuck me over so bad? No way. Wait. Okay. All right. Well, I think that means we call it for the night. Okay, so I guess, yeah, you know what? I think, okay, let me debrief really quick. I do think I forgot the fact that if you run out of chips, you die in this high roller mode. So I'll take that. I'll take that L for sure. Now I know. Now I know the consequences. 2, I'm pretty sure I was briefed at the beginning when we chose high roller mode that it said that it doesn't autosave. And it probably warned me to save frequently, which, as you can see, I didn't do. Because this is the beginning of the stream tonight. So, I will do 2 things. Well, I'll say 2 things. I will get back to where we were. That shouldn't be too hard. I can just do that. I can just do that off stream. I won't do it on stream. That makes no sense. But for the next time we play of the devil, and I'll save more frequently. So I will get back. I'm not going to do it tonight because clearly my brain is absolutely fried at this point. In the next couple of days, I'll off stream. I'll get back to here, or where we just were when we lost it all. I'll be able to easily get back and check where I was. I'll get back. And then I'll save more frequently. And then I would imagine time-wise, I bet we're pretty much a ways into episode 1. I would say I'm going to try to finish episode 1 sometime this weekend. That was going to be the main thing I was going to say. But now a little wrench here. I think during the day on like Thursday or Friday while I'm not on stream, I think I can easily just kind of get back to where we were. My bad. I should have saved. I should have, honestly... If I was thinking properly, which I know is hard for me sometimes, if I was thinking properly, when I was down to very little chips, I should have saved, because then if you fail, then you just reload the save. Unless you can't save during a trial. I don't know if that's a thing or not, but whatever. I'll get back to the point, but I will say this from the get-go. I'm not going to try to mirror the same amount of coins that I had. Or chips. I keep saying coins. Chips. So there's a good chance, and I'm not going to feel any shame for doing it. Now that I know the answers I technically did, my punishment is basically me having to replay it. But I'm not... There's no way in hell I'm going to subject myself or anyone watching this to rewatch me do this that I've already done. And I think my reward, my slight reward for that punishment should be I'll have chips again. I think that's all a fair trade. I think it's all above board. I think it's kosher. I think it's fine. That's very funny to me. I can't help but laugh about this whole thing. I got so tripped up in that one section that I lost all the coins. Oh, okay. And then in theory, I can save right where we got, and then sometime this weekend, we can finish episode 1. I think that's great. I'll have let's see, today's Tuesday. I have 3 days. I can easily just power through the text and get to where we were. That's easy. I'm not even having to read out loud. Yeah, that's easy. Okay, let me save. God, sometimes Sometimes I impress myself with just how bad I am. Like, that was spectacularly cataclysmic. Devastating, even. I still had a lot of fun. I'll say, I still like the writing. I like the snappiness. I kind of like the mini games and at least how they're presented. Like I said, it's just that high pressure, like, whatever. I'm accepting the failure, especially on that Reyes and that statement and the cup thing. I had the cup thing correct. I just was guessing around which sentence to present the cup thing to, because I got it. And really, that lost me most of the coins. Plus, when you think of the exponential, it grows, the penalty grows. Really, if I messed up, what did I mess up there? Like 4 or 5 times? That really set me up for failure for the rest of the trial there. And yeah, I should have known that I should have saved. That one's on me. I will accept that. It'll be fine. Everything will be fine. This will be great. I can easily just speed through the text and get back to where we were. That shouldn't be hard at all. I'm just repeating myself so that I can convince myself in the head. Okay, cool. So yeah, let's try to aim, I don't know, maybe Sunday? I don't know, sometimes Saturday or Sunday. I think I would just, I mean, and I'm only guessing because I know that, like, I had heard, like, an episode's, like, 10 hours or less. So if I'm in my head, I'm thinking how much I've already played. I would assume that we can just sit down for 2 to 3 to 4 more hours sometime this weekend and finish episode 1. Because I am very enthralled. I'm very interested to see what the final shoe drop is. But yeah. Damn, I fucked up. All right, good shit. Okay, tomorrow should be the start of a new game. It won't be a one-off stream for a new game. It's longer than that. But it'll be fun. I'm excited for the game. Productive stream. Thanks for stream. Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. That's what I'm supposed to say. I'm supposed to say you're welcome. It was productive. We got a lot done. Despite my messing up there, we made good progress. And like I said, I think we should finish episode 1 sometime this weekend easily. Tomorrow, new game. I'm going to try to get some sleep. Have a nice... I keep thinking it's Wednesday today. I keep thinking it's Wednesday because in my head, my work week is really only going to be hell for 2 more days. So I think of Thursday almost as like my Friday, even though I'm still working on Friday. So in my head, I keep thinking today's Wednesday and I'm not going to be streaming tomorrow, but that's not the case. I am streaming tomorrow. New game. Until then, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. It was a good one. Until then, till tomorrow. Sleep well. Bye.